It's your boy T-Bone Reaction. Today's Music Money. About to get into a back-to-back of what had happened was with direct production. We're going to check back-to-back of two iconic beat machines that shaped the sounds of music, especially the early days of hip-hop as well, too. So we're going first. Now, a while ago, we did the journey of the MPC, and where the MPC 60 was made by the one only Linn. Now we're going to get to the first piece of equipment that Roger Linn was made famous for, and that was a equipment that was named after them. That is none other than the Linn drum. So we're gonna check out what the Linn drum, what had happened was with direct production. Without further ado, let's check it out.
Roger Linn changed everybody's life when he dropped the Linn drum.
What's up? You got your boy Direct, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe, cause today we're gonna be talking about the Linn drum. What had happened was, okay, so around 1980, Roger Linn, nicknamed the father of drum machines, decided to drop the LM1. Now, this product was about $5,000 when it came out. Can you believe that? $5,000. Do you know how much $5,000 was in 1980?
And I bet it was that expensive, especially if it was definitely like something that only music producers can use, not somebody around the street to get this to use to get something in the beats. This is for like serious musicians and composers in order to use at the time. So I bet it cost that much.
That's equivalent to $16,000 right now. Only the top musicians could afford this machine when it came out. But Roger Linn didn't stop there. He said, okay, he created the LM1. About 500 of it was sold. And some people had some complaints and stuff, but he said, okay, I got something for you. Give it a couple years, around 1982, Roger Linn decides to drop the Linn drum. And everything from then on changed. So the Linn drum was a drum machine. You had your drum section. You had to the right your mixer section. On the top right you had your tuning section, and on the top left you had your programmable features as far as programming the sequencer and everything like that. The Linn drum gave you everything you needed to program your drums in your production. Now this was a blessing in a way, because finally you got the drum machine of your dreams. Now you can just create a drum sequence and boom, you just start piling on the rest of the music on top of it. Now you can put your bass on top of it. You can put your keys on top of it. You can put your horns on top of it. It helped out a lot. But not everybody was happy with the Linn drum, particularly drummers. Drummers were really pissed off on this because it was putting them out of work.
I bet.
You had bands like, damn, man, you know, we got to get rid of somebody, man. We got too many people in this band. It's like a classroom. Who should we get rid of? They're like, what about Donnie over there? He's the drummer. Hey, Donnie, come here for a second, man. Yeah, man, sorry to tell you, man, but we're going to have to let you go. It's a tax thing, man. It's tax problems. And Donnie's all pissed off. Donnie's like, man, you bastards. I know you guys got somebody else, man. I've been seeing how you've been watching me when I'm playing and everything. Who is it, man? Who's my replacement? And then they just point at the corner and they say, that guy right there.
This is another reason why I like to watch direct production videos, because he's hilarious with his commentary. That's why I love him, though. Oh my god. Yo, but yeah, this is, and also the main thing is information to know about the pieces of equipment that shape the music world as well too, especially the beat maker world, me being the upcoming beat maker. But yes,
yeah, the Linn drum. So drummers were tight, man. Drummers were pissed off. They were getting kicked out of bands left and right. They were leaving the drummers out. It was horrible. But little do they know, Roger Linn in a couple of years would develop another machine called an MPC, which would destroy the whole band concept as we know it.
Right.
the Linn drum was great. You had an 8-bit, 28 to 35 kilohertz, 15 outputs in the back for each individual sound. You even had a sync output in the back and a trigger output in the back. 42 preset drum patterns. So if you couldn't think of a pattern yourself, just use one of the presets. The sounds were so realistic, you couldn't really tell if this is programmed drums or if this is a real drummer going in, to tell you the truth. I mean, they were using acoustic drums for the most part. The way you can tune the drums, level the drums, sequence the drums, you really believe that there was a drummer there doing this. The Linn drum was great. In the Linn drum, you had your snares, your bass drums, your crash, your cowbells, your tambourines, your congas, your side sticks, your hats, your cabasas. You have every drum sound you would imagine in your Linn drum. And I know you're looking at it and like, hey, those don't look like as many buttons as you just named off. Well, the Linn drum has a percussion button, and it's like an alternate button that gives it two functions. Right. So if you press it, it could be on toms. And then if you press it again, it can go to the tambourine. Wow, or if you press it, it could be on the cabasas. And if you press it again, it could be on hats. So it was pretty innovative thinking at the time, you know. Above on the top right, you had a tuning section that allowed you to tune certain drums. Now, you couldn't tune the bass drum, but you could tune the snares, the toms, the congas. You could put decay on the hats, and you had the panning left and right section. So this was pretty impressive, because on the Linn drum, you could make a dope.
Low-key curious of what that cassette the function is like right there.
Sequence on the Linn drum, where if people listen to it, they're like, wow, this thing sounds amazing. I love this. And then somebody else comes in and they're like, I like this, man, but I don't want to use the same drums, man. Do you got something else? You could be like, hey, bro, just wait 1 second. And you can just start tuning, decaying, and panning left and right. And that original dope drum sequence will sound completely different. And it will still be original. And it'll still be dope. Now, you might say, that's all fine and dandy, Native Shades. But how does the Linn drum sound? You've heard the Linn drum sound before. Matter of fact, some of y'all was raised off of the Linn drum sound. Have you ever heard this? Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike, yeah. Or have you ever heard this? Let's hear it for the boys. Or my favorite, the first comic I've ever saw. Take on me. Take on me. Take me on. Countless hit records used the Linn drum. Madonna's Lucky Star.
Yeah, I just really put up a bottle for fun, y'all. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Ready for the World's Oh Sheila. Some say Michael Jackson's Billie Jean used the Linn drum. The reason was because this was incredibly innovative. Finally, you got a drum machine playing on time. And the way Roger Linn programmed that whole sequencer was phenomenal as far as adding time correction, you know, the whole quantized thing and swing and everything like that. I mean, to us, it's like regular stuff now, but back then it was transcending.
Definitely was.
So the Linn drum is easy. You can create a song on the Linn drum. It got a song mode, or if you want to, you can just copy and paste the sequence and just continue on, and continue on. So you can make your sequence as long as you want to make it. It really was detailed, and he really went into the core of how a drummer would create music. And Roger Linn played the guitar. That's something that's really crazy. Whoa. It went to the extent of, you know how like in some of the drum machines or even the samplers that you have, you know, the kick is usually to the left and would be the first button, so to speak. And the snare would be the second button, kind of on the right. Well, Roger Linn developed the Linn drum where the kick is on the right and the snare is on the left, because that's how a drummer would drum. They would have their kick drum on their right, and then they would use their left hand to hit the snare. So this is a musician programming this machine versus a programmer programming the machine. Like if you check out a lot of the drum machines now, they're programmed from programmers. You know what I'm saying? That's why the kick is the first button to the left and everything. But Roger's a musician. He knew to put that kick on that right side. Now, when the Linn drum came out, it was about $3,000, which was not bad. It was $2,000 cheaper than when the original LM1 came out. So it wasn't too bad. You know what I'm saying? Still, you know, top musicians were getting it. But if you had a studio or you was a working musician, you probably could save up and get yourself a Linn drum back then. You know, since then, the Linn drum has formed like a cult following. I think there was only 5,000 of the Linn drums actually created. So whoever got it, got it. You know what I'm saying? You can go to eBay and try to get one. Last price I saw for one was $7,999.
That shit.
Can you believe it? Right now in 2021, the Linn drum going for like $8,000.
Of course.
I can't pay $8,000 for a drum machine, man. I'm so broke I can't even pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So the Linn drum is way too much money for me, man. But yeah, that's the Linn drum. What had happened was so this is your boy Direct, aka Native.
And this was a good little history lesson on the Linn drum and the mechanism of the Linn drum well too, because this is one of the machines along with the emulator, the SP emulator, and the next one we're gonna check out as well too, that I was curious of as well too, how to sound, how to use and all that, how like maybe I get the sound from, I get sounds from to put on my MPC as well too, because you know if you are ever curious getting like sounds from like old school samplers, old school beat machine, oh excuse me, is this website called Samples from Mars. You can get that from as well too. I got like some free stuff from there as well too, and it was pretty interesting, pretty dope beats they had on there as well too. But yeah, if you're definitely looking to get like old school sound for like a Linn drum, a DMX, a old MPC, what else? The emulator, the SP emulator as well too. Definitely check it out. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.